welcome everybody. It is really good to be back. We are on the second episode of Chapter Ear, and I'm pretty psyched about that too. We are obviously Fate of Isen Book 2, Pukapukarua, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition podcast made by a bunch of Kiwi comedians, proud members of Kiwi RPG, Kiamu, Whakatau, Aotearoa, tabletop role-playing from New Zealand, if you didn't already know. If you are new here and you're joining us for the first time, hello, welcome. And for all of our Faties who are coming back home again, so good to see you again.
Sure, bro.
Sure, bro. We're going to korero paki. We're going to tell some jokes, hopefully save the world. Maybe. We're in a library. It's not exactly life-saving in here. Or maybe it is. But we are going to have...
Power,
this is
important.
Right? Yeah, we are going to have a whole lot of fun.
The pen is mightier than the sword. And I don't know if there's a pen in the library, but they wrote the books,
we can't write on the books.
There would probably be a quill in here or a few of them. There are a lot of scholars around the place researching things, but let's catch up with where we left our sidebars. So, where we left them. Currently, Granny is probably the safest and happiest of all of our sidebars. Granny, obviously, Kasia, not joining us again tonight. We wish you really well in your recovering surgery, Aaron, Kasia's hubby, and we are mad at you for stealing our Kasia from us, but we respect you and hope you're having a great recovery. But yes, Granny is sitting with the old ladies reading group, and she is quite happy tucked up there now, deep in book discussion with some ladies who are knitting and drinking wine, both expertly. Taryn was last seen talking to Perla, the daughter of the Floatess, as Perla curled up in her usual reading nook and sort of took out her usual fantasy adventure that she was starting to get back into. And we left Taryn there about to probably do her own book grab. We're not sure. We'll have to catch up and see what Taryn's up to. But more pressingly, we left Bardley and Dexter in a bit of a situation.
We were a couple of just naughty kids.
Well, I think you were
just
louder
talking,
than I was being.
Oh, there's absolutely no way. This is revisionist.
I think you were. You were the one that kept saying the name over and over and over again, like it was Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Look. What Dexter said might be interpreted as bullying Granny, but I like to think it was whimsical to say that Granny was in her natural habitat and to narrate that, similar to David Attenborough in our world. I don't know who. When
you see someone really enjoying their life and having a good time, you make fun of it. We should.
I have the counterpoint though. How
I do have a sincere emotion.
Yeah. Let's not.
Do I turn around at the sound of the toot?
The episode did end with a fart.
Because we're all mature.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just a little one.
So what we're going to do is pick up from that highly offensive smelling sounding point and dive right back in.
Poot.
So, as our adventurers Dexter and Bardley whisper excitedly amongst the coloured bright tombs and all of the people that are muttering amongst themselves, kind of, with a pleased mumbles of exploration, they get a bit too rambunctious. I believe they were singing a song about something, and it just...
Nah, I don't recall this.
Yeah.
It was Bardley singing a song.
Yeah.
Seems out of character, honestly. No.
Yeah. The air around them grew much colder and the shadows deepened around them ominously. They didn't actually realize initially, and then a ghostly spectre materialized. And everybody else in the library, yes, I know I said that weird, materialized. Everybody else in the library suddenly grew quiet, because the librarian had appeared, and he doesn't just do that all the time, usually floating on the upper levels where the restricted sections are, things like that. Not normally down here in the general library area. So it kind of made everybody else pause, but not Dexter and Bardley, who were quite involved with each other and the little games that they were playing currently.
Don't sound like
children. His presence, his, we'll never know, presence drained the warmth from the room around you, but it was the chilling silence around the two of you that is suddenly quite unnerving. This ancient librarian of the Lost Library, he looms over you. That hollow black emptiness of the hood, somehow delivering emotion, even though you can't see any kind of face. And you feel like it is burning with a quiet fury. And with an eerie hissing breath, he raises a kind of a finger, but it's sort of made of like smoke and essence to its hood and delivers the ultimate shh. The sound is not just a warning. It is a command, and it reverberates through your entire soul. It freezes you in place and extinguishes your voices completely. And as the room noise and colors fade away to black, you feel yourself curling over in misery and absolute fear, and a memory comes to you. Now, I've talked to my players off screen about this, about what memory came to them. They gave me a little wee prompt. And memory. So, which one of the two of you would like to go first?
I think Bardley was the worst between us of making noise. It was definitely the instigator of this whole situation.
Okay, so Bardley it is.
Bardley, because I farted. Everyone's so mean to me. This is ADHD bullying.
Librarian.
But Fartley should go first.
Okay.
The loud, annoying Fartley. Let's go.
And so it's like
Bart Bardison.
It's in a state of like just sadness and fear and just absolute miserableness. And you're not really even sure why until this vision comes back to you. You remember that day when you were a child, standing on that creaky wooden stage of the village square, heart bounding in your chest. It was your first recital, and you were terrified. As you began, your voice faltered and cracked, and the notes came out flat. The crowd in front of you quickly turned sour. They were booing loudly, even throwing rotten tomatoes at you. Humiliated, you fled backstage, tears absolutely welling up in your eyes, but your mother, there, always there, backstage, with a firm hand and a steely gaze, insisted you return to the stage and finish. She said it would build character. So trembling, you go back out there. And during the jeers, finishing the song, but so miserable, and that moment just indelibly seared into your memory forever. So you're in this memory. This is where we find Bardley currently. Externally, by the way, you guys are just sort of frozen in the middle of the library, just kind of like, and in the same position. You're not taken anywhere. So, Taryn, you're just seeing two of your frozen companions that the librarian is hovering over the top of right now. Yeah, so that's kind of what it looks like on the outside.
We had tomato soup for dinner that night.
Yeah, I don't think Taryn's going to move forward.
Yeah. So Bardley,
there'll be no broth to cure this.
As you're in this memory, you sort of like come into it again, but this time as you with all of your years of experience since then, I'm still feeling that misery, still remembering exactly how it felt, but not being that young child anymore, being you in that situation. And you realize that, like, it's sort of like you're kind of stuck here, and you're going to have to try and get out somehow. Okay. So what do you do?
I pick up tomatoes and throw them back at the audience. I go, leave him alone. He's just a kid. And I throw them back at them. I'm quite overwhelmed from my emotions.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, there is kind of a crowd obviously gathered here. I mean, it's hard to actually see who they are because your memory doesn't really provide faces.
I'm just adding back the tomatoes that were thrown at me. Yeah.
So it's just these shadowy figures all booing and throwing things at you, and you're trying to throw tomatoes at them. Like, roll me a like a ranged attack. Like, see how well you're actually managing to do this.
I would also like to maybe throw one at my mum. I feel like that's also a thing.
Yep, your mum is exactly how she was back then as a child, because you remember that like gaze telling you to get back on stage, you know?
Mm-hmm. So a lot more youthful than today. I rolled a 12.
So you managed to cop some of the audience with these tomatoes, you know, pretty easily with a 12. Your mother, like, just steps kind of out of the way and just gives you this, like, disappointed look.
Still not living up to it. Nothing's ever good enough. Is there a trapdoor? I feel like most stages have a trapdoor.
Yeah, so you can do me a perception check and look around and see what's like, you know, because as a child you don't remember, but you now know a lot more than you would have known back then, right?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, so you're like remembering how creaky the stage was right where you stood, and you're sort of like, you know, kind of hopping up and down. You're still like kid you sized, but you in your mind, you know? And you're remembering how creaky the stage was, and you're like, that was weird. And you look down and, yeah, there's like the outline of a box on the right where you were kind of standing.
Okay. Do I roll to open?
No, you can just open that up.
Just open the trapdoor? Yeah. I'll scurry away. Yeah,
cool. We'll come back to that in a moment. Taryn, on the outside, what are you doing? Like, they're just standing there, currently the librarian just looming over them, and they're just... It does look a little darker and a little creepier over by them, but where you are, it's still kind of light and bright and nice.
I think she'll sort of slowly, like, circle around and then go to talk to the librarian's assistant and just sort of whisper, is this normal? Are they okay?
Yeah. So, and Lyria leans over to you and goes, I did say not to do that.
They were just a little loud. We need their help. Do you think you can get him to just ease up a little bit? Is that a thing you can do?
She's like, honestly, you gotta just kind of let them play out. I mean, usually this is sort of what he does when people are noisy, and they come back and they're usually a bit more, I don't know.
Chill?
Like chill or like sad. She looks at you like kind of... But I mean, they come right. They're fine. They just, you know, they come back and they're quiet for a while, which is, I guess, good, right? I don't really know. He's never done it to me.
I don't know. We need them focused. We're looking for something super important, so I can't have these two people from outside being super strange.
Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can do, I guess.
That'd be great.
And she like...
We really need to hit these books.
Yeah, she like looks at the librarian like, I don't want to do this. But, you know, like she starts sort of walking towards him.
I'll wait for your thing. For your go ahead.
Yeah.
You got this. Girl, you got this.
This is the retail thing of like, no, I'll look out the back for you. I'll see if we have any more in stock. And then just, nope.
I'm being that customer.
Yeah, correct.
Let me talk to the manager. Oh, wait, that's the manager. Don't let me talk to the manager.
I don't want to talk to the manager, but you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Granny runs over to you at this point, Taryn, and is like, so they said that Doris, she's really cool, and I want to be just like Doris. Doris said that I could join them in this other reading room. It's like really special, and only the cool grannies and things get to go there. So can I go? Can I go, please?
You don't need my permission. You are a strong, independent granny. You got this too.
Okay.
You go with your people. See if you can learn anything about what you guys actually came to the library for. Maybe Doris knows a little bit about
the toxic earth things and the stones things and the weird big figures that like other little people are always on their knees to. Yeah, I got it. I'm on it.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Okay.
I'll wave like the flow tester to her daughter. Proud.
The earth's toxic. Moment. I'm slipping under.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of slipping under, Dexter.
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
Is this like going to be just like a cool chill kind of experience for Dexter and his past?
Again, you're feeling pretty miserable, kind of scared, a little sad, like all of that kind of like, you know, all of those emotions that make you want to curl up inside yourself. And as that black lifts again once more, it's sort of, you know, and then sort of something comes to vision. You remember the sting of betrayal, which still haunts you. A wound deeper than any sword could possibly inflict. Your best friend, the one you trusted above all others, Brandleberry, turned against you, whispering lies and sowing seeds of doubt within that monastery. One by one, your brothers you had called family turning their backs, their once warm gazes now cold and distant. Even Abbot Peak had given you a squinted gaze of disappointment. The isolation was suffocating, the loneliness a constant companion. Surrounded by those familiar stone walls of the monastery that you were forced to leave and never return, you have never felt more alone. And so you find yourself back in that room right at the moment of that betrayal when everybody leaves the room and it's just you. Kind of standing there realizing you're going to have to leave. And that's sort of where we pick up from as you, just go pummeling back into that body. And that actually wasn't that long ago for Dexter. Maybe a matter of 6 months, a year kind of scenario, not that long ago. So a lot has happened since then, but it also still feels really fresh. What do you do?
Things have changed since Dexter was last.
You've changed.
In this space.
You're different. The old you would have done it.
Yeah, this is the point where you leave. In your past, and you remember this, you left, And that's kind of where we find you. Yeah.
I would have seen which way Brandleberry went.
Yeah. Definitely.
Can I follow out that way?
Yeah, so you kind of turn away from what you did back then, and you turn further in towards the monastery.
And further in every now and then.
Yeah.
Do I see Brandles?
You follow sort of footsteps down the corridor and further in. He's wandering towards that big, large room with the tree in the middle with all the seating around the outsides. That's kind of where you're headed right now. So, yeah, you catch up with him as he's over the other side of that room looking to go into another door. But, yeah, you're kind of both in that same room.
Easy. I was going to say, as soon as Dexter gets an eye on Brandleberry, he's going to break out into a sprint and try to just leaping kick him in the back.
Okay. Roll me an attack roll on Brandleberry. Interesting.
Is this that everybody was kung fu fighting moment that Dexter needs?
Definitely that.
Surely not everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everybody
Only Dexter was kung fu fighting.
They were as fast as lightning.
Oh, that is a dirty, filthy, disgusting 20.
Nice.
It's a little bit frightening.
Nice. Yeah, you absolutely kick Brandleberry in the back, doing some damage to him.
And then, as he does it, Dexter's just going to scream out, and I'm going to back away from the mic. You're welcome, Brad. You were my best friend. How could you do this to me, man? After everything we've been through. I trusted you.
I had to. Mr. Kane, I had no choice.
Everyone has a choice, and he's going to go in for a palm strike.
Yep.
Which is a 10, which is half of what I got before.
No, that does not hit.
Just
you fall.
I'll say at this point, just kind of tears streaming down Dexter's face of just emotions, which kind of blind him for a second. You just blindly. No, that's in that one.
Because you kicked him down and he was on the ground, and you tried to palm strike him on the ground, but he's rolling around on the ground. It's quite hard to get a handle on where he kind of is right now. Yeah. And so you sort of hit the floor, and you and it feels quite real, for remembering.
Surely got low.
You do remember where you were, so know that this isn't where you are, and know that this isn't who you are. This guy from ages ago is not who you are now, and so you're aware of that. But the floor does feel quite hard and quite real, as a sort of ow,
I would have had Brandleberry if he wasn't wearing +1 apple-bottom jeans and boots with the fur. As Dexter's palm just kind of hits the ground, he's going to let his hand just kind of settle on the ground, kind of in that Marvel pose after they jump down from something.
Superhero posing.
But it's a 10, so it's that most average.
I could do a performance check to see how marvelous it is.
Yes,
but Dex just gonna look at Brandenburg and like, it was a choice between me and you chose yourself. Don't pretend like you didn't have a choice in the matter, and this wasn't the most selfish thing you've done in your life.
And you just see his eyes go really wide. Roll probably a persuasion check or an intimidation. I would take either.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
What a sad little life, Brandleberry. It's only a 7.
Yeah. So his eyes go really wide, and you see like a tiny little tear like slip down his cheek, and then he sort of, you see that decision that he makes, and he kind of like, hardens up because in your mind he did it. And so your mind kind of like fixes it, if that makes sense. And he just goes, and I do it again. I am not going to die for you.
Dexter's gonna, you rat! And then try to push himself off and go for another thumb strike.
All right, so hold that thought. We're going to switch back to Bardley. Bardley, you're crawling on the underneath of the stage, and it is dusty
Classic
and
Bardley.
Dirty, and
getting low.
Like there's a whole lot of objects under here that you're having to kind of make your way around, and you actually just are getting.
I pick up one, and it's like half an opera mask, and I'm like, what the heck is that doing there? Throw it away.
Phantom of the what?
Who?
Yeah. You're getting more and more lost down here. You actually don't know where the edge of the stage is because you've never been under here and you don't know where you're going. So, what are you doing?
Yeah, great question. Having thoughts and feelings. Could I try to detect magic?
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe, like, specifically to see if there's, like, a concentrated area that I could head towards?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Ooh, 21. A dirty
Nice.
21.
Okay, so you roll out a detect magic and you're kind of trying to cast around and try and find little tiny you body somewhere to go, right? But as you do that, what you're actually picking up is what has been done to you, like Bardley, who is standing in the library, and you feel like if you can just get a grip on this memory and like control it and form it back somehow, then you can, push yourself out of it, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I turn around, is the trapdoor like right behind me still, even though I've been crawling for ages?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With a shaft of light coming down,
It's like right there. I'm like, it's behind me, isn't it? Okay. I crawl back up out of the hole. I crawl back up out of my hole.
Cool.
And I'm on stage and I see the instrument.
Yeah, and the crowd is still there booing and throwing tomatoes, and your mum is still there going, go on, get it done,
Okay, yep. Should I... Slight metagame. I do have my uke right there. Do you want to go to someone else and then come back to me?
I can, if you like, yeah.
Yep. Sounds good.
Let's go out to Taryn, who's working with Lyria, who's like... Taryn, I've never interrupted. What am I even going to say? Like, what?
I've never seen it before. No. If you do not want to do this, could you help me instead? I wish if they're not going to look at books, I guess I should start looking at books and getting some sort of information going while they're helping the librarian. Is there a tomb or something that I could look at to figure out where we should look later?
Should look for what?
Like a reference book to tell me where to look in the library. The library's huge. There are books and water. Like a database or a data book.
The card catalogue.
Yeah, that sounds plausible.
She points to like this like massive kind of, it looks like a cupboard with tiny little drawers in it, and they're all labeled like A to Z in different ways. This huge like shelf of heaps of them, and she pulls one of them out and you see lots of little pieces of cardboard all with like writing on it dictating like the name of the book, the author of the book, and kind of what the book is about.
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, this, right, like this.
That's perfect. If I'm waiting for these guys, I may as well get started and at least figure out where to even start in the library.
Okay, so how to use the card catalogue? It's kind of tricky.
Never used it.
Yeah, so close all the drawers, and then kind of tell it what you want to find. Like, if you're looking for a particular author, or you're looking for a particular book, or you're looking for a particular, like, topic, like, think of a keyword that you want it to be linked to, and then you sort of tell it, and it rearranges all the cards alphabetically by the thing that you said, and then you pull out the drawer with the first letter, and it finds it.
That's really cool.
I don't really know how it works, but it just does. See, look, if I go, I know a good author that is in the world. His name's Brad Zimmerman. So you just go, Zimmerman. And look, I can pull out the Z drawer, and look, like, everything he's ever written is in here. There's this thing called D12 Go and Squatteth Games, and I don't know what any of this is, but like...
Oh no, those jokes didn't age well.
Yeah.
But if you skirt past those...
Oh wait, did he write one book of...
Something called, like, Book 1? I don't know what that is. Yeah, but like all of that.
I wouldn't read that.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll leave this here for now. Do I close the doors and then just, like, reset it again?
Yeah, so close all the drawers and then reset it and then... take it away.
Okay, cool. She's going to close all the drawers and say, like, current or modern symbols in Isen, semicolon, poppy and music note combination.
Yeah.
Because she really wants to figure out that sort of symbol that she saw when they were coming in to break into the school and storm the school. She wants to get a start.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so you kind of think that in your brain... and you don't see anything, like, happen, but you finish thinking it, you, like, open your eyes or you do whatever you were doing when you were thinking it, and the drawers are still all closed and they're all still alphabetically sorted.
Did it work?
And she's like, she puts a hand on it, she's like, it's humming, so, yeah.
Storm open the doors and see what cards came out.
Yeah, so you can either look into the drawer that says, like, P for Poppy or, like, M for Music Note or, whichever way you want to kind of pitch that. Because you thought a couple of things, so the drawers are still all alphabetical.
I might go either Poppy or if there's a symbols of Isen, probably one of those two. Probably symbols.
Cool, so you go S for symbols and you pull open that. And you get a couple of references straight away for, like, different symbology of Isen, so there's like a couple of cards here for some good ideas. It tells you what the title of the book is, it tells you who the author is, and it tells you where to find it in the library. And these look like she looks over at your cards and she's like, oh, general, yeah, you don't even know to go to the restricted section for those. That's good.
Oh, great. We'll go to the restricted section later, potentially, when we've got everybody around. I think Taryn's just gonna...
Librarian allows it, that's kind of his deal, like yes, no, Most people are allowed. I mean, look at those guys.
Are they allowed to be doing that?
Hello.
Oh, yeah. The flow tests, like, tell them to do that, I think. They have flow test permission.
That in particular? Dancing in the corner of the library? I shouldn't think so.
Flow test, flow test, flow
right.
test.
Yeah.
Flow test.
I mean, the librarian is busy, so...
Yeah.
They can get away with it now.
I guess.
Interesting. He's not completely all-knowing all at once.
Yeah. No librarian gonna get me. All I'm gonna do is dance.
And he's just fine with it. I don't really know how he works, honestly. You guys are new, so you probably have stricter rules.
Potentially. We have different rules in the college that I worked at, but yeah. Well, thank you for the help.
Yeah, no worries. And she turns around and she looks at the librarian. She's like, I really do need his help. And she just walks up and she goes, librarian? Someone wants to enter this restricted section. And then just kind of runs away. That's as much as she can do. And so Dexter, that flicks back to you, and you're about to, like, palm strike him again, kind of, like, smack him again. And so tell me how that went.
Let me do a cheeky roll. That is a 21.
Cool, 21. So you smack him, and the last thing you see as you, like, take out your anger and your betrayal and everything on him is his face just kind of turning into, like, a smile where it says, see you again, friend. And then just kind of disappears. and you just hit floor, and then your hand sort of goes through the floor, and then you sort of rock as your hand is suddenly plummeting towards Bardley.
You're getting
Bardley's face.
You're getting low.
Yeah, so you're back in the library and you're like, yeah.
Bardley, you want to take 1d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage, boy?
It's a one way to wake someone up.
Face.
Get out, snap out of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out if Bardley, dodges out of the way in a second. But, essentially that's, you're like, oh, you wake up and it's kind of already happening. Yeah.
Because you guys would be pretty close to Dexter at the moment. Bardley at least would be.
Yeah, really close,
Taryn,
because you're right there.
Moved away?
Yeah, Taryn's moved away.
I like to think we've gotten close over the time we spent together.
Fancy.
Yeah, Amy would like us to say it as I cast database, but sure. Which is very
Select asterisk from library.
So let's go back. Let's go back to Bardley as Bardley steps into this shard of light coming down on the stage, looking at this audience that are booing and throwing tomatoes and things, picks up their instrument and steps forward. What do we see Bardley do?
Picking up instrument noises. I'm going to sing you a song. I hope you don't think it's too long. Well, I'm trying so hard just to be faithful to just being me. Happy and proud to be me. I'm doing good if I'm just being me. I play that.
Perfect. Yay! Real life inspiration, Nat 20.
Honestly, absolute scenes if you're just toxic gossip track.
Roll me a performance check. It's going to be probably really good because Bardley's performance is lights out, but it's a hard check.
Would you allow it at advantage?
But you do have real life inspiration if you want to use it because that was awesome.
I got a 21.
There you go.
Dirty little 21.
Nice. And so as you're singing, the boos kind of slow down and the tomatoes stop being thrown and they sort of start listening and they sort of start swaying a little bit, and you turn around at the end of the song and you look at your mum and your mum's doing that thing where she's got both of her hands together and she's looking at you with like happy face and glowy cheeks and is just there's my Bardley. And then the memory just kind of fades out, and you
and a hand is
you come to in the library with Bardley with Dexter just coming at you with scared eyes, probably quite oh crap, as you come out of it.
Maybe in athletics or
acrobatics to dodge out of the way.
Yeah, I'll go acro. 15.
What is Dexter's dex?
He's a +3, 16.
+3, 16. Yeah, you just get clipped with maybe a pointer damage. You mostly miss it, but yeah.
Well, friendly fire.
Yeah,
you'd hear Dexter say
just catches you. Yeah,
in the saddest voice you've ever heard him utter. Just I don't need you. I don't need any. What?
What?
I'm just being me.
And it's the last time I'll do that. What being yourself gets you.
Taryn comes over and goes, okay, so that's usually a warning, so maybe be a bit more chill.
If that's the warning, what's the next part?
Yeah, you don't want to know that.
Have you've seen somebody push it
disappear?
Up to the
be eaten by the library, never to be seen again? Yeah. I told you all of this last time.
Okay.
A lot's happened since then.
I thought those were just bedtime stories.
Your friend is over there in the general section looking up some symbols or something. Is there something you actually want to look at in a book before you get in more trouble?
I've been wrestling with demons. I kind of just need a moment.
Okay, demons.
Maybe a self-help
book. You go over to the card catalog and you look up D for demons. You'll find some stuff.
Do you have any books on emotional closure after a betrayal?
Self-help. Yeah. If you go to the card catalog and you think self-help, you'll probably find what you need.
I have something.
Just trudge over.
Yeah. And you just think self-help, and you're like, I don't know if that works.
Just muttering under his breath, like, God, I have to help myself. I have to do everything.
You can't help others if you can't help yourself first.
Yeah.
If you can't love yourself.
And she looks at you, like, desperately trying to get you guys to pick up a book because she's sure that that'll fix this.
Do you have any books on weird old forest women that appear and make you feel weird and also make you damp for some reason? Because I want to know.
Okay, so Bardley says, in order, I found an old woman in the forest, made me feel weird, made me weird.
Do you have a book on that?
Like a hag in the forest, I guess?
Yeah, I guess she was
haggish.
haggish.
In a dungeon?
Yeah, like, I guess if you think hag, semicolon, like, forest, then, like,
maybe like power, comma, woman, old.
That's just Granny. You're just describing Granny.
Yeah, but not normal.
That's also Granny.
So, like, what does the lady do to you? Like, is she casting spells at you, or, like...
She doesn't remember why she's there.
Okay.
And then weird things happened to us.
After interacting with her?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, yes. Ever since interacting with her, weird things happen sometimes.
Cursed?
It's very chaotic. Yeah, maybe some chaotic kind of curse. Is there something on that?
I mean, you could look up chaos curses. I mean, curses, / chaos, semicolon chaos, like maybe that.
Yeah.
Okay, if you insist.
Yeah.
Can we just
shove it down my throat? I'll go do that.
Okay.
Select old woman from library when location equals forest.
Yeah.
That's just so easy.
And curse. Old ladies that give curses in the forest.
I can
Maybe
tell
the
you
nerdiest
if you
thing I've
do
said on the podcast.
too many things at the card catalog, it gets real confused and starts throwing cards at you. So, good luck.
Oh, I'm about to make a name for myself.
Yeah, so you kind of wander over there.
Are we rolling to browse?
Essentially,
roll to peruse.
You have, you have thought this, and there are still a lot of different kind of words you could use to look up, like old, chaos, curse. So I guess some of them are under C, so you probably pull that one open and pull out, like, it's kind of like popped up a couple of cards
C as well,
for you.
so that
Yeah. It's popped up a couple of cards for you of, like, known chaotic curses of the past and stuff that have been recorded and things like that. So that's probably a good place to start, I guess.
Known chaotic curses or gnome?
Known, like as in to be known.
You've been gnomed.
You've been cursed by the gnome.
Yeah,
Holy
so you can look that up. Dexter, you see Bardley research all of that. You've got your little cards that you were recommended for some sort of self-help, like some good mental health exercises to do and suggestions, and a book on how to deal with grief and all of that kind of stuff. You got a few good recommendations, but is there something else?
Yes. Dexter's gonna look through the self-help books and maybe I should help myself, but I should probably help the party and look up something kind of useful. So he's gonna look under E for elementals and try to get any information on where elementals come from, what they do, what's their place in the whole ecosystem of Isen. What's the deal?
Yeah, because you're thinking about the water elemental you've come across, the guardian and stuff. Yeah. That makes sense.
It was like a rock and a twig elemental that we found on the farm a while back. And Dexter hasn't forgotten that. That was a weird interaction with those folk.
You just gave me DM endorphins, remembering something that happened from a few episodes ago. All the DMs out there, just clap with me for a second. That was very good.
Give me inspiration.
Yeah, sure, you can have inspiration. Cool. So you get a book on elementals. Now, some of yours, particularly yours and Bardley, some of them are general, some of them are restricted. So you know that you're probably going to have to ask permission to go to the restricted sections for those ones. But again, Lyria peers over and she's like, oh, it's only restricted A though. That's not the top secret. That's just a little bit more than general.
It's restricted A. Can I get at this book?
Yeah, pretty much.
Instead of restricted B as in back off. I get your library system. bad book.
Okay, so we go back to Taryn. So Taryn, roll me an investigation check. You've pulled some of these books off the shelf down in general. You've been looking at symbols and stuff like that. Let's see what you know.
Not a whole lot. A 6.
Okay. Well, some of what you find is like common. So you see a few like poppies and bits and pieces and different like alchemist shops, or come up in different family like shields, so some of the family things that they have, that are really, really old. Same with music notes, lots of music notes around Georgia, like businesses in Georgia and Farrier, which would make sense because that's actually where Bardley went to college to study. So like the Georgia Bard College. Yeah. So loads of stuff that's linked to that. There's not many actually situations where they're linked together. And one of the books has a reference to a person that was seen wearing that on their robe, but they weren't really clear who they were. They just recorded it. And you see, and it's exactly the right symbol, but it's not enough information in this. Yeah.
Might have to go back and get more of those index cards.
Question from the monk boy.
Yeah.
If Taryn's looking at flowers and stuff that come up on cresps, does she see a Brock flower?
Oh, yeah. Technically, it is registered as a flower as well as a vegetable. So you would actually see a Brock flower be mentioned, and definitely as the Brock flower family.
What is this weird thing? Doesn't look like it smells great.
Do you point that out to Ethan?
Yes. Probably I'll be like, hey, check this out.
Yeah, because you guys can take over a table, and spread your books out, and you can sort of start researching all in the same place. Yeah.
Oh, funny story.
Reading.
We used to know a guy that was there was a Brock flower, like part of the family, not like a Brock flower himself. He was like a man.
Oh, I was gonna say this is an actual thing. He was a vegetable, but if he wasn't a vegetable, that makes a lot of sense. Was he a farming family?
Smelled like one.
I see. I could tell from the picture that it didn't smell fantastic.
Yeah. Stink lines.
No, it actually specifies that in the writing about the Brock flower. Yeah.
And like drawing little flies on it.
If you don't draw on the books, and they're just gonna look over to where the librarian is and just.
Yeah. So an interesting thing happens. So both like you get a sharp look from the librarian, and you feel kind of like yuck again. And also the writing disappears. So, like, you go to write it, and you see it written, but then it just disappears. Yeah.
Well, let's maybe not do that.
I thaumaturgy it.
Yeah.
Just me. Out of anger.
You can look around the library, though, and see plenty of, like, rules of the library, like no writing on the books, no destroying the books, no stealing the books, no copying the books without permission from the librarian. Like, there's heaps of that kind of stuff.
You wouldn't download a car.
Yeah.
Could I, what's it called? Is it just thaumaturgy?
Making loud noises?
I think so.
That's to like boom your voice.
No, prestidigitation.
Okay.
Can I prestidigitation like a little hologram out from the book of the Brock flower? And I make him stinky, and he goes, "Ooh, I'm a stinky boy."
No, you can only
in a very quiet voice.
You can only do visual or sound. Or
okay, I do the visual, but I'm saying I'm puppeting it. Uh-huh. It's a holographic puppet. Oh, I'm so stinky, and it's got little flies. I'm like, as example. There you go.
He really looked like that.
Yes.
Interesting.
100%. That's exactly how I remember him.
I will trust your memory on that one.
Yeah.
It like bends over. It's like, oh, I'm a stinky boy, and it does a little poot. There we go.
We've come full circle.
Taryn comes over with some more, like, as she realizes what you're trying to look for, she comes over with some more suggestions. She gets quite invested into what people are researching, so she's like, I asked the card catalog, give me a few more suggestions, maybe try these.
Which ones are they referring to?
Like Lyria brings it to Taryn because you didn't have
symbology.
much. Yeah, you didn't have much luck with those books, so she's like, maybe these ones. She's trying to give you another hand.
Yeah,
the help action.
Yeah. So Bardley, how is your research going? You rolling to read, investigating?
Yes, I roll to read. Gosh, I hope I can read.
Read better than I did.
It's a lot of. Okay.
You got to beat a 6. It's fine.
Yeah. 10. I did roll a 7 though, so it was only by 1 that I really did better.
Still beat a 6.
That's true.
Modifiers count?
Yeah, they do.
So with a 10, you are looking up like chaos curses of past and stuff, like things that have happened to other people. You read about a story that was recorded from a bard that once existed in the world. And this bard particularly wrote down about a curse that they suffered that ended up being a blessing. And it was given to them by this weird woman. But the notes that are about this bard and like are kind of vague, and this whole story is kind of vague. Like, this isn't... this isn't the story or the person. It's just like somebody else's vague retelling of a thing that they once heard about. So it's like not very detailed.
You need a first-hand source. I've only got these second-hand sources.
Yeah, pretty much is what you're reading right now. But you are only reading the general area books, so maybe that makes sense. You do have those other restricted kind of tagged ones that maybe they could give you a bit more information. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dexter... How is our investigation going?
Oh, let's have a look. I was going to burn the inspiration on it, but I think I'll take a 12.
Okay.
I think I'm more likely to roll below that than I am to roll above it, because that's how numbers work.
I mean, that is fair. Remind me what we were researching for you again?
Anything to do with elementals, kind of like
that's right.
where they come from, what they do, what's their business, what do they listen to in this?
And you got a 12?
Correcto.
Cool. So this general book, general, you haven't gone to restricted section yet.
General book?
Yeah, general area, general public
general
viewing.
Area.
It actually lists out several types of elemental. Only gives like a main 4. You've seen one that isn't on this list, so maybe this is like not a comprehensive list, but like this is at least a start for what you are looking at. It lists water, air.
Dexter knows more than the author. I love that.
Correct. Because it lists an air elemental, a water elemental, and the water elemental looks a lot like the guardian that you saw. An earth elemental that looks a lot like the earthy boy that you saw in the farm, and fire. And fire and air you haven't seen yet, but you have like a little picture of what those elementals could look like. So the air is sort of all like spinny and ethereal, and there's a couple of pictures, like one where it's clearly like standing still and it's just sort of a cloudy kind of figure. And then there's one that, not quite cloudy by the way, that's sort of the wrong idea. It's sort of see-through and you can kind of see it, but it's, and then one where it sort of looks more like a cyclone or something at the bottom. Yeah. So you see like that, and the fire is kind of the same, or like a little bit more dragon-y in look. Yeah, yeah.
Dexter has painter's supplies. Is he able to sketch the air and fire elementals on a bit of paper?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Yeah, so you can copy down these pictures of these elementals that you've got. But you're thinking about that twig type guy that you saw, and he's not in this book. So, yeah.
He either might be in the restricted one, or just not an elemental. Just like
or
a
maybe
weird
something else.
Twig golem.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, but either way, like, and it does refer to these elementals as living in their own realms. The other thing it gives you is that it gives you the names of the realms that exist for these elementals. And it tells you that you have the sky, which is where the air elementals live. Like, it refers to it as the sky. The float is where you are, and that's where water elementals come from.
Sounds familiar.
Yep. And the deep. The deep being referred to as where the fire elementals come from, because deep below the earth it gets all fiery, apparently. So
sounds like a fun place to be rolling in.
Yeah, and obviously earth elementals found wherever the sky meets the earth, you know, kind of in that zone. Yeah.
The horizon.
Yeah. So that's just standard Isen. So they say usually the only ones that you would come across would be earth elementals, because it's not often that, you know, Isenites would see the other elementals. Yeah. In fact, not actually every person that lives in Isen even knows that the other realms exist. You know, a person could live their entire life and never visit the sky, the deep, or the float. just not even know that it exists. It's not that they're hiding. It's just that, it's not your average holiday vacation destination, Yeah.
Also, a friend of mine's in his late 20s, never left New Zealand. It happens.
Yeah, so you get that kind of information. So you know that there's a lot more out there to Isen than you actually realized before.
Damn, and we've already been so many places. Dang, that's crazy. Dexter's just kind of like lean back on his chair and be like,
yeah.
Whoa. For the podcast listeners, he's putting his hands up to his head, like his mind's blown. It's just, whoa, that's a lot.
Visuals for audio. You
Tune in to the live stream.
Too. All right, back to Taryn, who got given some more suggestions by Lyria, and you realize that these two are also labeled as restricted. So she's like, you have to ask permission, but you just kind of ask, and he just sort of appears. I don't know how he does it, but like.
So do we call their name or his name, or
no? Just say I need permission to
visit the restricted
and say which area you're trying to go to. Yeah.
Are they all A? Everyone that we need to go to restricted A.
You've got B and C. Bardley has
fancy.
A and Dexter has A. Currently.
Damn.
Yeah.
You've got B for bad books and C for can't get it.
Can't get enough.
I just can't get enough.
Can't get enough books. Taryn will look up and around and will ask for permission to enter initially restricted section B.
Okay.
Oh, you're not going to the C section?
Now we'll build our way up there. We'll B for build. We spell here on Isen.
Okay, so you go to restricted section B. Roll me an investigation check as you pull down these books. Now, as you pull these books down, the titles of these particular books are Cults of Isen.
Ooh.
Hey, I rolled a 17. We got on the cults.
Gloria Val.
Okay, so as you pull down this book called The Cults of Isen,
wait, under B?
Under the B restricted. Anyway, look, it's a how restricted. Come on now, work with me, okay?
The Brotherhood of Cults. Yes.
And you pull down this book and you start looking through this book, and you easily come across. It's quite a beautiful illustrated version of this symbol. So it takes up almost the whole page, and then you flick and it's got like some information about what they know about this particular cult. And this one here is called The Cult of the Forgotten. And it lists a few pieces about it. Essentially what they know, to sum up, is that the Cult of the Forgotten has been operating for a long time. They operate with a secret mission. Not everybody knows what exactly that they're doing, but it is known that they go and they take objects from different places and they bring them back to like the Forgotten headquarters kind of for storage or disposal. Nobody's really sure what they do with them, but every time they're ever seen, they're looking for a particular object and they grab it and they go. And you don't see that object again. So that's kind of what people know about it generally. It tells you a little more about it, tells you a bit more about their mantra, like their song, which is in the name of the Forgotten, we will never remember you. We will strike your memory from the hearts of all and turn their faces to the sky, plant feet on the earth, their hands to the heat, their steps into the sea, and their minds towards each other. And no one name but hers we still sing, so that none may hear. It's all written there. It's been in operation for, as far as people can tell, like at least 1,000 years. And nobody really knows who the people are either. People kind of can like ask to be part of the Forgotten. They go there, but then they're never seen by their families really again. And if their families do see them, the person doesn't seem to know who they are or pretends not to know who their family is. So clearly, like, it's very an insular cult. Once you're in it for life, and you don't really engage with outsiders past that. Yeah, so that's kind of what
Does it kind of give the temperament of the cult? Because Taryn's experienced this from having them break in and attack the college to potentially gain the book as a thing.
Yeah, correct. So what you're reading here, they're just talking about how they just want objects. They just take the objects and then they go. They're pretty chill. Like, they're not trying to like attack people or kill people or whatever. They seem very object-based rather than people-based. So, you know, like, that's kind of what you're reading in here. You're not reading anything that would be like, if there's a little label for like aggressive or like evil, it wouldn't be registering as either of those in this book, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the opposite to how Taryn's experienced it. So
absolutely.
She's got to ask for permission to write that down and write down.
Yep, so you're like, can I record this piece of information or whatever? And the librarian flits into being and nods solemnly at you, and then flits out again. Like, it's just like a kind of portal appears everywhere.
Apparates.
Where he's needed. Yeah.
Appears.
Cool. Okay, Bardley.
Perfect.
It's me.
Yeah, so you asked for permission to go to restricted A, and the librarian gives you like a very long stare and then nods.
And then Dexter's going to go up behind Bardley and say, me too.
Yeah, the both of you, he sort of like, you know. Look, you can almost feel the sigh, you know? Like,
I've done a lot of soul searching. I'm trying to be a better person and use the library for what the library's meant for.
He just disapparates. And just like, and your little card sort of, you know, glows golden. I guess that's how you know you're allowed. So you can go to that, you know, section.
We've got the golden ticket.
Yeah.
The restriction section.
Yeah. So, Bardley, roll me a check as you pull down this book.
Another insight?
Another either insight or investigation.
Oh, yeah. I'll do investigation. It's slightly better.
Oh, you can do it. You can do insight.
Rolled a nat 20, so that's 23.
Okay. Nice. Nat 20. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so you pull out this book, and this book, like, looks evil. It looks kind of awful. It's like, you know, the way it feels, it makes your skin kind of skittery.
If this is a successful roll, I would hate to get the unsuccessful one.
You're not sure how this book has ended up only restricted A. Like, this feels like it should be further up the library where you can see books up there that are, like, chained up and, you know, like put in metal boxes, you know, like that kind of thing. So, but this one here, you pull it out and it's almost like it's staring at you, like waiting to be opened. It's very ominous feeling. Yeah. It doesn't even have a title. It's just black, leathery vellum, you know, with like all sorts of engraved, cool, stuff on the front.
Okay. I open the book.
Yeah. And the words swim into being rather than
that's
being
just because
like,
I have dyslexia.
Yeah, well, probably. Rather than being pinned down on the page.
Damn.
Yeah, and
I noticed nothing.
And you're like, whoa! I opened it to a page that's all about like a chaos curse and like a demon and stuff. Like, that's cool, you know. Straight away, like, there it is.
A demon,
you know, like
a demon.
Yeah. So you're probably not even noticing that's weird. But yeah, so it swims into being and it actually talks about a chaos curse, which can be placed by a demon of chaos. And then some of the words just scramble, and it doesn't matter how hard you look at those words, they just refuse to stay still. It seems to be talking about some other person that grants that power, but you're like, well, it doesn't really matter, right? Because like the demon's the one that casts it, so I guess, you know, it doesn't really matter where the power comes from or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you're reading about this, and a chaos curse can be placed onto people. It can be kind of helpful. It can be quite hindering. The point is chaos. There isn't many recorded examples of chaos demons placed in the world of Isen. There is a captured recorded example, a recording from someone called Trestlespoon, who talked a lot about a demon called the Ziglamel, who many years ago, like 1,000 years ago, maybe more, placed a chaos curse on a group of people called the Apple Squatteth. And sometimes it was helpful and sometimes it wasn't. And he kind of talks about a little bit about that and how powerful the chaos demon was. But it all turned out good in the end, he thinks. Maybe, probably, mostly. Chaos. You know? Like, yeah. Yeah, so there's like a little wee story there, basically, that you read a first account from someone called Trestlespoon. He talks of a party that he travelled with. He talks of a cloud and a bard and a barbarian that he travelled with and stuff at times. So, yeah.
Sounds similar to what we're going through. I assume with my insight, I acknowledge.
Yeah, but like, he's describing this demon as being like the Ziggler Mel, like the person he's talking about as being this youthful, powerful, like young looking, icy blue, beautiful woman, right? Can't be your guy's woman because she's all old and wrinkly and there's something wrong
How
with
long
her.
ago was it written?
Well, yeah.
Here's a question. Have we had any like interaction, like would we know about demons before now really, or is this kind of
like lots of horror stories of horrible things that plague the world that are always trying to pull you into evil. That's why you've got to make like good decisions. There are always creatures out there trying to trick you.
Right. That was like folklore for us.
Folklore mostly, apart from for Bardley. Bardley particularly has come across something strange before. A red-skinned, horned creature that they made a deal with. Sorry, I keep forgetting Bardley's pronouns.
All of them, all three of them.
Just use all of the pronouns and you'll be right.
They made a deal with about a performance and ended up losing their golden...
Yes, deal with the devil, demon.
Yes.
At the crossroads.
Yes, in Georgia.
Going down to crossroads.
Yeah.
In Georgia, over a golden fiddle.
Ukulele. At Georgia University. And, okay.
So you're like, of all people, you would be a little weirded out by that.
It's weird that there's this demon and then also there's this stuff.
Yeah,
More demon magics.
That's kind of what you get.
When you let your heart win. Oh.
Yeah, there seems to be some other information that the book has, but isn't staying put
available
on
to
page.
Me. Can I show the others it to see if they can read it?
Yep.
Turn it around.
And again, they're reading most of it, but apart from this piece that just won. Yeah.
I imagine this would be too obvious an answer. Can you reach out and hold that piece that's kind of floating around?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like the text itself will not stay on the page, stay read. Your eyes are unable to understand what it's trying to be, say, do, whatever.
I take it to the librarian. I ask the librarian to read it for me.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, there's some books that just do that. I don't really understand it, but it's just kind of always been like that.
What about the big guy?
Yeah, not the librarian's assistant. The librarian.
Oh, you take it to the librarian and you point at it and you ask the question?
Yeah.
They go into the top.
If anyone would be able to read a smoky thing that floats around on the page, I feel like it's this guy, because he's kind of doing it too.
He looks at you, and for this time it's
very
not like a look of...
Quiet.
Yeah, it's not a look of disappointment or annoyance or anything like that. It's like a long searching look. And then he points at his head like he's trying to, because he doesn't speak, right? So he points at his head like he's trying to tell you something, and you in your head sort of feel like he's trying to tell you must remember. And he nods.
September?
Remember.
Yeah, when you say remember out loud, he nods. And
remember what?
Lyria leans over and goes, yeah, he said that to me before, but I don't know what he wants me to remember. It's not like I've forgotten something about how to read. It doesn't make any sense.
Wait, so I need to remember, or we all need to remember?
Maybe we all do? But what are we all collectively forgetting? What, my birth? I mean, I don't remember what it was like when I first came out of my mother.
But how would that help you read a book
This
anyway?
is the first time you've seen her be sarcastic. It's obviously a riddle that annoys her too. Because imagine being a librarian who a piece of a book you just can't read all the time. Yeah.
How am I supposed to remember what I've forgotten?
I guess that's the thing. When we are all remembering what we're supposed to remember, then it won't be forgotten anymore, I guess. Is any of this like triggering for like Taryn, who's sitting there at the end of the
I've come out of restricted section B and I've just overheard the last end of this and I'll be like, is it similar to my book? And then pull that out again. Like, does it squirm? Yeah,
same thing. All squirmy, don't stay stick. And Dexter, you look at the book that you're reading.
Howdy.
Yeah. Are you still continuing to read about various elementals and things like that? Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to find the Twig Boy. See where the Twig Boy is.
Yeah, okay.
What are you doing?
Roll it up.
Are you allowing insight?
Yeah. Inside the book.
I will insight the book, because I get a +2.
Cool.
That is an 18.
Nice.
I'm going to keep my inspiration. I might never use it.
This particular book, like, because your prompt to the card catalog was just like elementals, right? It went kind of broad, generic topic elementals, you know?
Dang, broad.
Yeah. And so it's not until you pull this book down that you're like, oh, this probably isn't quite what I want, like what you were thinking of, but it's got some interesting stuff in it, and you're like, I might as well read it, you know? And so you're thinking about elementals, right? And this one is about the realms more in detail. And I'm talking about more detail around air, more detail around fire, blah, 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 blah. Like all those particular realms, like the deep, the sky, the float, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about the realms and how they are linked to the element. How the element itself has some kind of control, how they have a link to the element, how the element is linked back to them, and how it's a symbiotic relationship that must be maintained in order for the order to be maintained. And it refers to in order for Isen to be like safe or whole, or the words kind of change all the time, but like one of the times it refers to Isen being asleep, which you think is probably a mistake, but you know.
I want to remember this. Things have been forgotten already.
Yeah, so there are like little pieces again in some of these books where it's talking particularly about the relationships between the elements and the realms that are squirmy. Again, little paragraphs and things like that are much the same as the other people's books that are just squirmy. It's specifically around when they talk about how the element is linked, like the physical connection. They seem to have some kind of physical connection, and then it just goes squirmy. Yeah. What did you roll, by the way?
For the insight?
Yeah. 18.
18.
Yeah, okay, cool. So within 18, there is a picture in the book of the float. Looks like it portrays the place where the water guardian is, or close enough. You know, so you see a picture of a podium, a stone, a room with loads of murals all over the walls with these tall figures in the sky and tiny little people looking up at the tall people in the sky. And you're like reading a book about, you know, the sky. The whole realm, the sky. And it talks about particularly the sky being a majestic world that floats high above the land of Isen, suspended on an immense cloud that never dissipates. It's ruled by an enigmatic ruler on high. And this ethereal domain is home to like bird-like races and air elementals, anything that would glide gracefully through the ever-shifting mists and radiant skies. The inhabitants of the sky hold themselves apart from the world below. It describes them as viewing themselves as superior beings to those down on Isen, you know, or definitely under Isen. They are shrouded in some mystery. They are said to possess like ancient magic, profound knowledge, you know, secrets whispered on the wind, but rarely shared with outsiders, you know. To the people of Isen who know anything about the realm at all, like this book is in the restricted section below the water, remember. So like most people are not going to see this book. To people of Isen who know anything, they would just know that it's a place of awe and wonder, a realm on high with distant people who guard knowledge jealously. You know, that's probably what they would know if they know anything at all. This book has a little bit more, but yeah.
Similar to there being a picture of where the Waterstone was returned to, with the elemental, all of the majestic paintings. Is there any similar air equivalent? If I understand that it's on a giant cloud, is there a picture of a place on that cloud?
There isn't, actually. No. There isn't like a clear like, hey, this is where it's hanging out, you know. But there isn't one for Isen, and one for the Deep. And you already know where, you know, Isen's like Earthstone sits. So technically you actually know more than this book.
Not again.
That's 2 authors now.
What?
Yeah.
Why is Dexter too goated, man? Get him in there.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know, like, bear in mind, you don't know anything about, and you probably will take away some information about the Deep as well that we can use maybe in another book, in another chapter.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any more about the air?
That's
because I think
pretty much it's very, you know, talks very like, I love this place is beautiful, but what you get is kind of that.
What a simp.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd know this, and I think Dexter would also know this, that we've gone from a place that's very earth-based to a water-based. Maybe air is the next place that we want to kind of investigate in a kind of new space when we've wrapped up here. Because we've done what we set to do, which was return the water stone. Things have kind of settled down a little bit. And then go up to the air and see, is everything okay? Are things going weird?
Yeah, and I mean, Dexter would know that most of the murals around the place that you've seen and stuff all have these, like, big people in the sky portrayed. So maybe air is where you'll find, you know, and the sky is where you'll find your next lot of answers. And Lyria sort of leans over and goes, so...
Oh, hello.
So what next? What are we researching next?
This is a good question. At least on a personal level for me, it's between, like, good palm striking techniques, or a place I've always wanted to know more about was Arkvale. I used to do some kind of trade around there.
Arkvale? Yeah, I mean, I really kind of feel sorry for them now, you know? Like, ever since the treaty has been in place and all the different restrictions on trade and work and... You know, like, I know that they did that thing that they did, like, ages and ages ago, but, like, the treaty is due to be removed now, right? And they still haven't lifted the, you know, restrictions. And I think it's kind of mean. Like, isn't the council doing something about that? I thought that's why, you know, the Flotess left and went to that council meeting, was to talk about Arkvale and the treaty, so... Look,
we all know what Arkvale did, what led to the treaty. And it's just going to, like, point to Taryn and Bardley, like, they don't know. So if you want to fill them in just so that we're all on the same page.
I've never seen anyone from land apart from these guys, and that was, like, 4 days ago.
Of course. Exactly. Yeah, you don't have my books to tell you everything. Of course, yeah, no. Let me, hang on, 2 seconds, let me come back. She leaves you guys alone for, like, just a moment while she runs off to go get a book. We
burn everything.
You have a quick moment to sidebar about what your next, like, moves might be from here. Bearing in mind, end of the chapter is coming fast. End of the episode is coming fast upon us. What do you think you will be doing from here? And you've also spent several hours down here, spending time researching through books and reading and trying to find what you're coming across and that kind of thing. So you're getting tired, getting on, you know.
Can we get the bins?
No, you're
calm
actually...
down, radio here.
You're okay. I mean, Dexter had it when he first got to the float. That's why he ended up in bed for a couple of days. But the rest of you guys managed it okay, so...
Yeah, me and water don't go well together. Indeed. As discussed, Dexter's going to kind of take the other two aside and then kind of show them the passages about the kind of air place and say, look, they don't seem like great people. They look down on people, literally, figuratively, seems like a lot. But I think in the same way that we've had bad earth things, bad water things, there might be bad air things. I think it's worth kind of checking out, making sure they're doing okay, because that's what heroes do, and we're heroes apparently. People keep saying it. I don't feel it, but people are saying it.
Roll me a history check, Dexter.
That's a 10.
Okay. I had 9 in my head, so that's okay.
Hey!
You...
Of course, you've just come back from Germany. You'd have 9 in your head.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why. I don't know why I picked 9, so yeah, maybe. You remember not that long ago, like a couple of weeks ago, you were carrying around some leaflets, some flyers in your bag, and you put them all back on the notice board. One of them was for a flywag.
Oh.
That did... transportation travels and things for you. And you remember that it
said a hot air balloon?
It said a few of its stops. Essentially kind of like a steampunk
like
wagon.
A Zeppelin type thing?
Like a Zeppelin. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And you remember it said that it had a few stops, and one of them is actually an island that's really near Minia. So you could probably just sort of... Yeah, somewhere near there. You could probably just head up to the surface and maybe catch this flywag and get them to take you to this Sky Kingdom place.
Yeah, and as kind of Dexter's thinking that, he's like, look, if we go up there, then whatever, the king that we took the Earthstone from is not going to find us, because we're going to be
the
like...
The Earthstone? The Waterstone?
The Waterstone.
the nurses have got the Earthstone.
Dexter's just going to get more and more flustered, like, no, the water, the stone, the thing, and then they'll get to put on the thing, and then you go up there and they don't find us.
Yeah. Taryn, did you go and wander off at some point in this and go look at a restricted section C and bring the book back? And are you currently reading this book? You know?
I am.
Yeah.
Silently in the background while I listen to Dexter almost beatbox his way through an explanation.
Yeah. Okay.
And
boots and cats and boots and cats.
Do you want to roll me that investigation check just to see how that's going?
But do it quietly. Do it quiet so you don't get tossed by the librarian again.
And Lyria comes back. And she's like, right, okay, so, and you see she's got a kid's book, like a picture book, the history of Arkvale, you know, and like, it's got like cute little, like, you know, more friendly looking figures than actually the message is sort of betraying.
Can I also find another demon book? Like some sort of demonology? I feel like is where I need to look into.
But we're running out of time, so we may have to do that off screen. But yes.
So I rolled pretty badly.
But then just off screen, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, cool.
I rolled kind of badly. So I'm gonna be like, hey, we had one more birthday inspiration if we want to use that for information.
You do, actually. Yep, well remembered.
But I also don't want to take another one.
Oh no, we will forget to use it. Absolutely use it now.
After this point.
For sure.
Okay. Do better.
Give it another fortnight? I don't even know what birthdays are.
It did marginally. It's 9. 9.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Lyria comes back and she's got this like kids book on Arkvale, friendly figures, that explain basically that Arkvale Empire tried to take over the entire of Isen. Basically went to war, sent all their soldiers out, was really awful, like killing and pillaging and all sorts of bad news everywhere all over Isen. And there was a group called the Resistance that was like a secret underground group that fought back against the Arkvale Empire, and then there's kind of a couple of pages about weird heroes doing some stuff off in the background. Nobody's really sure what happened there. You know, like there was some big fight or something, and then there's a page with like, and dragons are back now, I guess. And then
this
it's
is the
like,
most undetailed, like vague description.
It is a kid's book, right? So she's walking you through the main points. So she's like, the heroes came and they defeated the leader of the Arkvale.
I love drag time reading.
Yeah, and then
it's a wholesome.
They brought down the wall that had trapped the dragons for like thousands and thousands of years or whatever, and so dragons are back now, and that's why the dragons live where they live, you know, over in that section of Isen, over in the, you know, the wildland, the free lands and stuff over on the side.
The dragon lands.
Yeah, so they're like, they can chill out there now and like run that, and we don't go in their territory and they don't go in ours, and everybody's cool, and Arkvale needed to be punished for what they did because they were bad people. You know, it doesn't really matter that their leader was kind of like this crazy psycho like magic lady or whatever, they still did it. So we punished
crazy psycho magic lady.
Yeah, so we punished Arkvale like real bad kind of for ages. But the treaty's up now, I guess, or at least it's due for review. So we're supposed to be lifting it, I guess. Not everybody wants it lifted. We're kind of chill with it. We don't really care. Down here in the float, like I think the float test said that, you know, she was more worried about her own kingdom right now than like Isen's problems, so she was fine. But there was a whole lot of people on the council that really didn't want it. Like the guy from Bruce, that the beard with the axe and stuff, he really wasn't keen on it. And
on the restrictions being lifted.
Yeah, and then the Speaker of Airedale, he's from like the city of Brune, and Brune's kind of been weird for like 1,000 years. Like people there are kind of crazy. They're like really big on punishing and keeping everything the same and stuff. So, you know, like they kind of want everything to stay the same too. I think you know, because like what's the one that you guys would know? Oh, Skirrick. Yeah, Skirrick's kind of chill, I think. I don't think they really care as long as people are coming to visit Skirrick. Skirrick's got that like whole tourist destination thing going on, so they're kind of, you know.
What about Balias?
Absurd.
Oh, Balas?
Balas, yeah.
Yeah, I think Balas kind of thinks that Arkvale's probably served its time. You know, with like, plus more people to visit, more people can explore, you know, he's got some crazy idea about turning the wasteland near his port into a carnival space of theaters and fairs and stuff or something. And I think, you know, more people, Arkvale, blah, 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 coming to visit. I don't know, everybody in like the Council of Isen has a different idea about what they think they should do. So they haven't made a decision. But like, I thought the whole point of a treaty was that you do the treaty for the time of the treaty and then kind of the agreed thing is that it's lifted, but like maybe they're just going to write another one. I don't know. I feel sorry for
when's it meant to be lifted?
Arkvale, you know? Like, have you seen the little speaker of... I've seen like a picture of her and she just looks like a child, you know? She's so little.
I've only been to Belas. I haven't seen anywhere else on land.
How old's the picture, though?
Well, I mean, apparently this like girl, Elbra Mortimer, I think her name is, she was just like the last descendant of the last true king is what Arkvale says, you know, King Elbrick before, you know, Tajna or whatever her name was, took
we got to
throne.
choose a better system for having people in charge.
Well, it's kind of why we have like the council now. We don't really do the kings and queens thing anymore. We just have like a speaker, which has the speaker goes back to its own council of like the place, and they all decide things together. And then like the speakers of Isen can like, you know, decide the big things about Isen all together. But like Arkvale can't really decide anything because Arkvale's like not trusted, you know. But like, it's not even the same people. If it's been 1,000 years, it's not even the same people anymore that did the thing. So, I don't know.
It seems kind of mean to do a group punishment for people who didn't even do that. It should be against some sort of convention or something. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not my job to figure it out anyway, but like, anyway, that's the story about Arkvale, I guess.
I have a question. Hello, Dexter.
Yes.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Great.
When's the restriction meant to be possibly lifted? Do they have a particular like time in mind?
Well, I believed it was recently because that's why the Flotess left to go meet with that. She doesn't often go to Isen to meet with the council, you know, and from what I hear, it wasn't just the Flotess. It was the Jewel of the Deep and the Ruler on High and the Queen of Dragons. They all were there. So you'd think
the Khaleesi?
That's the mother of dragons. This is the queen.
Yeah, I mean, the dragons, they have a queen. Apparently it's like a cultural heritage thing and they weren't going to give up having a queen. They really didn't like the title of speakers, so they just still have a queen, you know. But yeah, like that's apparently they were all there and they were all supposed to make this decision, but Arkvale is still restricted, so
maybe Arkvale wanted to stay restricted.
Maybe. I wasn't at the council meeting. If only someone was at the council meeting, like our podcast listeners.
Well, I thought you were going to be like, you guys are actually there.
Nope.
Don't you remember?
Nope.
Dream.
Our podcast listeners were. They had a special recording that went out on an earlier episode, so they can go back to that. And
I'm going over to the Twitch chat. I'm looking at the Twitch chat. I'm not. My Wi-Fi's not good enough.
Oh, was that one of those end of the episode, if you actually listen to the podcast, you players, you would actually know more about the world kind of things? Yep. Erika's nodding. Okay.
Yes.
I only listen to true crime.
Know things that I wouldn't know.
There is, you know,
well,
there is a reason.
I heard that one
to
before jumping on here. So
yeah, it's true. It happened.
I need to be as stupid as my character
before Erika joined the podcast. So yeah. So anyway, she gives you all of that, and she goes, anyway, you didn't come here to hear me listen about history. You came here to read books, I guess. So what are you guys doing now?
Books on history.
You gonna wrap it up for the day. I'm thinking I will. Apparently the reading group's coming back down soon. The scholars from the floor test are coming back down. Sort of. Most people go home, some people stay.
Can we camp out in the library if we're quiet?
Oh, no. You have to be studying to be given permission.
We'd still be studying. We'd still be studying.
Look, Bardley, I appreciate your newfound love of books and of the text.
I didn't even know I could read until now.
I don't want to be here at night with the librarian. That seems like a terrible idea.
I feel like that's the safest place to be.
I feel like I'm going to have, if Nightmares had a sequel, that was even worse.
Okay, fine. We'll go back to the tavern. They love us. We can sing another round of on dry land.
Yeah. You can always come back tomorrow, right? Or unless you have something else to do.
100 flagons of beer on the wall. 100
I assume we can't take
not
out
the library.
Because otherwise...
Oh, no, there's no borrowing of books. But did you get all of the notes that you need?
Libraries don't do that.
Not this library.
Ridiculous.
I would like to come back tomorrow to research more into demons, for sure.
Okay.
Well, we could, or...
It's demon time.
Did you want to start heading up? I mean, can I come with you? It sounds really interesting.
You can, if you're going to stay and research for demons, the rest of them can go and you can stay. I mean... If they want to go somewhere tomorrow, then I guess you can learn what you need to learn now.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
We send Dexter to go take Granny to the tavern.
Yeah, Granny is already drunk with wine and is busily trying to tell you some stuff, but is way too excited, and keeps being but you gotta shh, cause the librarian, it's just
one word at a time. You don't need to call me dear that much. I get you. I get that I'm dear to you. No, no, I get it. Yep. No, I am dearie now. Why are you adding an extra? Okay.
And we fade out on our sidebar adventures as Bardley knuckles down into the card catalog, looking up different demons. Dexter and Granny kind of one arm around each other, sort of happily sort of exit the library together. And
yes, I do like your broth. No, I'm not lying to you. Why would you think I'm lying to you?
Taryn puts down a book and sort of has a weird look on her face as she also exits the library, and we'll come back and we'll find out what she learned in our restricted section C book later. And as Lyria closes, the glass doors on the library for the last time behind all these people that are filtering out.
For the last time?
You're
trapped in the library.
For the night.
This is post us all leaving. Cool.
Yeah, and she sort of looks around and gets, sort of lock-up mode on. We fade out on our adventurers. And
that's the end of the
episode. That was really bad, guys.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
That I think is the best we've done it,
I do think that was better than normal.
We should get the listeners to
I can't hear how it's coming on through there.
Yeah, totally.
Get scores.
The Olympics have ended. We need scores.
So much for joining us
some judgment
on our adventure today. We hope to see you again if this was your first time. Thank you for dropping by, and thanks to our fadies who came back once again. If you are listening to this podcast on the podcast app of your choice, maybe come along to the live stream to catch the action directly as it happens. We stream every second Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. NZDT, and we would love to see you there, especially seeing as we might have a special guest next episode. Many amazing people are involved with the production of this podcast, and I'm incredibly grateful for their hard work and dedication every single episode. So give a big shout out to my partner in crime and apparently amazing author in the world of Isen, Brad Zimmerman, editor of the
Brad is canon
now, polished episodes you hear, and responsible for the design of the world of Isen in Book 1. Thanks to Amy Ward Art, our glorious moderator, who's very sick right now and is still being an absolute trooper. Just keeping our live streams chat a wholesome and hilarious place to be. We love you. Thank you to Haunted Sandwich for the character art they designed for the sidebars, Aiden Messer Photography for capturing our players in real life, and I want to shout out to Sam Sarah as well, who helped the team out while I was away. I found out and made sure that the editing and the technology went well, so shout out for that. We are proud Kiwi members of Kiwi RPG, and we encourage you to visit their website to find other Kiwi creators that you absolutely need to know about, who are doing awesome things at the moment, which is cool. And of course, this podcast would not be able to keep going without our Patreons who keep the lights on in Isen HQ and make Fate of Isen Discord a delightful home on the internet. We are very grateful for your support. So thank you to Alex Wentz Robinson, Irene Cucci, Laura Christine Goodwin, Sam Malcolm, Cade, Victoria and Gavin Porter, Daniel Nichols, Squish, how long can I make this before Patreon stops me? Maybe I could write a book in here. Alexandra Lakehides, Andrew Evans, Chaos the Fox, Ezekiel Taraborelli, The Gamatron, Christian H, Disturbed 1NZ, sometimes Marlock, occasionally Dinglefloof, but always the human servant of the real life Wen of the Forgotten, Lyndon Hood, Tom Ailey says Paul Smells, Erika Jayne, Penny D from the Terrible Adventures of the Janice and Breakfast Company podcast, who are dropping their final book and chapter this weekend, I hear, maybe, rumors. So look out for that. Aaron Gilgren, Moji, Torji Barkide, Danielle, the Tea Lady, Lady of the Tea, and Liz from Time to Die, a D&D podcast. Change of name there for Liz. Ooh.
Love. Very funny.
Exciting.
Go check that out. Okay, so thank you so much to all of them. And you too can be a fatey for as little as $2 a month. Join the exclusive Discord and become one of the many fans that I now consider friends. Only don't do it from your iPhone because they're taking more money from you and me on Patreon if you use your iPhone, which is kind of suck.
That's crazy. That's wild.
What?
You can read about it all over Patreon news right now.
And the Discord, but Severin, you don't check that.
Yeah. Before we go, I just wanted...
Somebody else might have gotten engaged.
True. Before we go, I wanted to remind you that if you have a hankering for more dice in your life, if you head over to our partners on fanrolldice.com and use the promo code FateOfEisen, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So, yeah, that's from us. And last but definitely not least, a big thanks to my players who went through a bit of a traumatic session at the start, but we've pulled it home with some history and lore at the end. All right, we're going to get out of here, team. We all love you loads. We all say call your mother, and we all want you to take care of yourself. So,
look, it's caught on. It's the trend that's sweeping the nation is either yelling call your parents or calling your parents.
And if you don't have any parents, call someone you love. Because if you don't love your parents, don't call them either. That sucks. Call people you love.
Call your closest guardian figure.
The people you love need to hear from you because you're awesome. All right.
If your parents are either dead
Tell
or
your
dead
friends
to you,
that you love
call
them.
someone you love.
Okay. Bye,
Get out of here, you crazy kids.
Bye.
Call your parents.
Goodbye.